Hello everyone, I would like to show you the video guide for my build for Arcane mechanic, the Thunder God. Let's start with the most important part, the skills. The first thing you need to do here is that you need to reach 100% mastery level for this tree, because at last mile points gives you two bonuses, 30 dexterity and 10% overall damage. It's quite substantial, and it's more than what you would get from investing in any auras or tricks. I've tried it, and for me it works better, and that's something developers should work on. So the reason why the build is called Thunder God is because you're doing only lightning damage through two skills, the supercharged blast and your pocket mechanoids, who deal the highest single target damage as lightning. So they are your most important skills. Unfortunately, supercharged blast is very far, basically your last skill, and right now it cannot be leveled to the max, but it has the hypercharged blast power up and the first upgrade auxiliary supercharger, which decreases the rage cost, which basically enables you to spam it for double damage most of the time. What also helps here is this rage passive skill, which gives you more rage to store, and the upgrades which increase the rage gain and decrease the rage cost. The pocket mechanoid does not require any upgrades, I mean any power-ups, unless you are leveling up and you are not using rage on your primary skill. Then you can take self-minding mechanism, because the up to 75% chance to recreate a spider automatically, it's a lot. But in your endgame farm it's not necessary, and just statistical bonuses of hit points damage and explosion on death, it's actually really good. That's all that matters. Then defensive synergy, so that your spiders scaled with your defense. More hit points, doesn't hurt, and what's important is self-repair mechanisms, because it allows your spiders to constantly heal themselves in combat and out of combat. It's great for low area of effect damage,
your
or
Chimera
just
has returned from a successful hunt.
healing the
Return
damage
to the lair to receive the spoils of the
between
hunt.
packs. Then offensive synergy. It's not a big damage increase, not the best increase across all your passives, but the most important thing is the drain accessory, 10% of maximum hit points per each attack. When your spiders are upgraded with damage, with protection, they are very hard to kill, they can just walk over anything, bosses, elites. It's incredibly overpowered for healing. Steel springs aren't very good, but I just felt like I could take it, because sometimes I run ahead of my spiders and they can't catch up. Protective synergy, just like defensive synergy, it also makes your spiders harder to kill, and the important part is clockwork smith expertise, 20% longer duration. It's one of the most important, the highest, strongest ways to increase the duration of your spiders. The mechanical mastery is good, but if you are cooldown capped, like I am at 60%, it will be wasted. But if you aren't cooldown capped, of course take it, it's very important. Now, in the second part of skills, obviously improved remote control, but you will be spamming your spiders at huge rates, so making sure that you can have more of them at the time is important. And of course the statistical bonuses. Grease Thumb, likewise statistical bonuses, but what's important is the 10% chance that any of your spiders deals double damage when it's created. It's huge. My spiders, as you will see later, they can deal over 100 damage per hit each. It's crazy. And additional chance to passively recreate. Also very handy. Then of course Paradox Recombination, another chance to passively reassemble your minion upon death. It doesn't require a lot of investment because it's expensive, it's 2 points, and it's very little increase per point. The reason why I have 2 points here is because, as you can see, I've dumped points in Grenade Lob and Phlogiston Torch just to get to the Mastery Peak, and I felt that getting the remaining 2 points here is better than spending them elsewhere. Now, about tricks. Electric Sphere, that's just one overpowered skill. As you can see, when it's maxed on level 10 and your cooldown reduction is capped, cooldown is just less than 9 seconds, while the duration is almost 5 seconds. That's over 50% uptime of invulnerability, infinite mana, and chance to do pretty much this.
Not possible.
5, 6, 7.
I can't do that.
7, almost 8 spiders created per 1 electric sphere. Well, I think that's imbalanced. Another very handy trick about electric sphere and ghastly shape is that normally you pop your electric sphere, you can't move anywhere. But so it charges very soon. If you pop electric sphere, then ghastly shape, you can run as you want. That's a marvelous bug that pretty much makes your invulnerability an escape tool. You see those spikes, those spikes coming at you, or fear explosions surrounding you, just pop invulnerability and run away. It's amazing. Then the reason I have Ghostly Mirage is because my Katarina is quite improved. I'm working on her, and I don't mind having 2 more clones which deal something close to 50k DPS. And as you can see, when you're cooldown capped, the duration and cooldown are pretty much the same. No reason to using more points here. I've used to have Assault Mechanoid before, but the point of this build, of all the chances to, the chance to have double damage upon creation, it kinda doesn't work with a permanent construct. And although it's incredibly fat, its melee tanks for you, it deals good basic physical damage, I just prefer to know for sure when I have capped the amount of my summons, when I have 15 of them and I don't want to press additional button. Not so necessary, but it's not a liability. It's a very strong spider, much stronger than Cannon Ornithopter, which deals, as you can see, very low fire damage from afar, and it tends to get stuck. I do not recommend using it, especially since it costs 3 skill points. Force Armor also, I didn't invest much in it. In fact, I didn't invest anything, as you can see, because I don't quite understand how it works, but I know one thing: it's cheap, it has low cooldown, it absorbs some of the damage, it has some explosion. So what I do is I recast it as often as possible and just use it as additional layer of defense, and that's all that it has to do. Now from auras, of course, Storm Adept. You're dealing lightning damage. 30% bonus to your lightning damage is huge. It doesn't increase your spider damage, but it's certainly, it's like 1/3 to your base damage. That's a huge bonus on its own. The upgrades are also very good, but personally I don't feel lack of mana, so maybe while you're leveling you might want to invest to mana cost reduction. But in the end game, somehow I have 50 mana regen per second, that's plenty enough. And of course, electric sphere. If I ever get mana drained, just pop electric sphere. Storm Mastery, just like the Mechanical Mastery, it's also great 10% cooldown reduction to make sure that your cooldown is 1 second, but if your cooldown capped on the global cooldown, it's just not necessary. And the 1-2 point auras is statistical, great to all your mechanical, to all your spiders, mechanical building, mechanoid building, and clockwork expertise, 20% longer duration. Pretty much no-brainer here. And the other very important part is perks. If they are chosen carefully, they can really make this build work. For instance, the most important ones, they focused 1, 2, and enlightened. They total give you the total amount of 20% cooldown reduction. That's 1/3 of all your cooldown reduction you need. 20%, 1/3 of 60 damage, and all just from perks. It's not very hard to get, just dump all your points into willpower, and it requires 300. It's some money to spend, but if you're level 60 it's not a big number, it's just a question of how are you annoyed to click plus and minus. Really wish there was an option to entirely remove all the points. It also helps you with mana management, but as I said, electric sphere does it for you. Then of course Thunder God, Electrician, and Elementalist. That's up to 25% lightning and 5% elemental damage. It's also a huge bonus to your lightning damage, and also just from perks. Then very handful damage, very handy damage perks are Perfect Aim and Perfect Aim 2 for 2% chance, crit chance, and 5%. That's pretty much the highest DPS or DPH bonus for perks that you can get, even higher than lightning damage, although if you are not yet critically built, I'd recommend first taking the lightning damage. The rest are the remaining perks are Arcane Mechanics specific perks like Extended Durability, one more source of duration increase for your spiders. Weird Scientist, that's also a chance to create an even stronger spiders and even fatter spiders. It's very useful. And Sublimated Discharger, 2 enchants on your Discharger. That's huge. That's a great way to add one more layer of damage. Another interesting thing is that if you have a great weapon, you have it best rolled, you can remove this perk for unlearn it, and that's it. You have a free perk slot. You will still keep the bonus, the enchant. Then important perks are skill perks: Master, Teacher, Veteran, Hunter. Not sure if there was anything else. Yeah, and Master Hunter. You will need them because in order to have enough skill points to reach the mastery cap here, although it does go above 100, it doesn't provide any more milestone bonuses, and honestly I wouldn't recommend spending so much points into skills that you will not ever use. So you will not have enough skill points on your own to get the cap here and have the necessary tricks and auras. And you will have more like about 3 leftover slots I recommend using them on flash. Movement speed is a good passive. Second chance, if you're not hardcore, that's no-brainer. It makes you even harder to stop. And well, I use Scholar the Ghost. Skill point, 6 skill points for Katarina. It's a lot of utility for her. Then let's look at the stats here. As you can see, I have invested a lot into damage and sacrificed a lot of resistances. I wouldn't recommend going below 1500 of each resistance, even if you have percentage reduction on your gear, which you will likely not have a lot of. Defense, at least that will be easy to obtain from best gear and from body. So mostly you will dodge attacks, you will avoid attacks from defense, and at least 30% reduction from resistances. That should be enough to survive, of course, since you have invulnerability on demand and second chance. From the stats, you should just invest everything into dexterity. Okay, for some reason I have 305 instead of 300 dexterity. I'll have to check it later. Basically, you invest everything into dexterity until you hit 300, the point where new points take 2 ability points per stat, and that's a lot. That's a waste. You can spend them on body. That's hit points for you, that's defense for you, that's health for your spiders. It doesn't give you melee damage, but it's still much better than wasting 1 whole point trying to max dexterity. This build, it might be a min-maxer cookie cutter build, but it's still somewhat rounded for also defense, like general purpose, not increasing this number to the moment, like to the highest. As you can see, it's pretty high already. Then the stats, critical chance 52% and critical damage 170. I don't know why it's 70, it should be 70. That's important because the synergy of critical damage, critical chance, it works in almost every game, and so it works here. Every second attack you'll be doing 4.5 times more damage. That's the biggest damage increase that you can get beside lightning damage and dexterity. Now, about critical damage, I wouldn't recommend using critical damage from gear because pretty much you get 1 point of critical damage per point of luck, and you will have, as you can see, you have a lot of luck from just all stats or luck rolls on gear. You will not get more than 50% critical damage on gear, and you can get 50 luck. So I don't see a reason why I should take critical damage over luck. And critical chance, there are many ways to get critical chance. That's potions, that's gear, that's perks, glory. You should find your own mixture how to get 52% to cap it. And the same for cooldown reduction. Also comes from glory, from perks, from gear. But another interesting and big source of cooldown reduction is your discharger, which I recommend. It should be a Chrome Trooper 3-piece set. As you can see, it gives me additional 12. It can range from 10 to about 15%, depending on the roll, and I'm still trying to find the best roll of Chrome Trooper cannon. But I've tweaked my glory and so that I have 60% now, and I already have only 15% cooldown reduction from my discharger, and I used to have at least 27%. I mean, right now I have 25%. So I used to have 27, and you can get it up to 30% and more. It can roll up to 18%, I believe, on the cannon itself, and up to 15 on the set bonus. Another point, other things about gear that I could mention is that, well, gloves, chest, belt, these three godlikes, pretty easy to acquire, they will be best in slot. The gloves have interesting thing, that 15% damage bonus. It's not that useful because you will very often be in melee, but it increases the number, good to look at, and sometimes it's good to open the fights with a big burst, because when enemies haven't yet approached you, and some enemies like the Shenkas, they are not good to be close to, so when you try to kill something from afar, the bonus from these gloves will be very useful. Also, the Angry Stomp bonus that is present on gloves and on the boots, that can be up to 15%. That's very useful when you're surrounded. You just cast the stomp animation, deal pretty noticeable damage, like 100k, and you knock everything back. It's also very good passive. The Garb gives a lot of attributes, a lot of defenses, but personally the most important part here is the chance to fully heal on killing an enemy. You most likely will not be able to get lifesteal, so in the scenario where you're unable to use potions and where you cannot get healed by electric sphere, this will be the only thing besides second chance that will heal you, and it's very useful. The belts, it has a lot of useful stats, arcane bonus, all attributes. It can be enchanted for dexterity. There really isn't much you can squeeze more from a custom crafted belt that would top the damage and utility of this belt, so I just suggest sticking to it. And the reason I choose Chrome Trooper boots over the legend and the godlike Demon Feet, even though I have them in bank, is because they just have a lot more damage. As you can see, the comparison of base changes, already 35% damage per second, and that's a lot. I might get more protection or hit points, like chance to fully heal, that's good, and poison reduction, but I don't die so much, and I'd rather have the set on me with more damage. But of course it's up to you. The rest of the gear is, well, as you can see, the full Chrome Trooper set, and the custom gear that you have is a trophy. If you wonder why do I have the strange name and the strange school, this school is from the first game. There was this trophy, I don't remember the set name, but it lasted, it was a level 22 trophy with a level 22 belt. These two items lasted me from level 22 to pretty much the creation of this guide, to the farming of Fearless 5. They were crazy and it looks unique, so my trophy is kind of unique. I know that there are godlike jewelry items, rings of Phantom Tsar and some torque of perfection or something, but they are extremely rare. They come from golden chests only, so I'd recommend you to just get your custom crafted jewelry before you get before you just hope to get godlikes. It's a lot of guaranteed damage, guaranteed stats, without any prayers to RNGesus. Which stats should you take on your gear? From the trophy, the most important stats are lightning damage, all resistances, critical hit chance, and I'd say, as you can see, a couple of damage reductions, the hard damage reductions. That's what you should get, and of course the dexterity. I think I mentioned dexterity, double dexterity. From the rings, the interesting things that you can rune craft 4 damages into a ring, but take a note here, only rune craft. If you try to re-roll, replace the enchants manually, you won't be able to get more than I believe 1 damage only. However, you can just go and insert 4 different elemental damages as runes into your ring, so that's what you should aim for. Then you just replace the ancients to body, magic find, dexterity, and lightning damage. Of course, you can replace body or magic find with whatever you want, but I think these two are just good overall bonuses. And of course, the dexterity. Yeah, what about the essences? All the armor essences should be dexterity, because that's the biggest damage increase that you can get. It's much better than just socketing 50 magic find or 5% cooldown reduction. Of course, if you have no other source besides the discharger, perks, set bonuses, if you have all these bonuses and you just can't reach at least 50% cooldown reduction, yes, you should socket some cooldown reduction essences, this one, because even if it will not show as a number on your character screen as a big number, what I've learned is that being able to spam a lot of spiders, being able to spam supercharged blast, that's a DPS, that's what matters, not just one big hit that you can get from dexterity. And the amulet, well, what I'd like to say is that this damage bonus, the percent damage trophy and amulet, for some reason it's not as big as it would seem, and I'm not sure why. Let's go to the enchanter and see how does it change my damage.
Sometimes I miss the campfire and the music.
See? 1,000. I don't know how it works for other classes, but for you it's not at all that crucial. You might want to get some defense, I mean some resistance, if you lack resistances in this slot. Unless of course, like me, you are dipped out. Perhaps I'll just replace it later. As you can see, the other important enchant here is the damage enchant. You cannot socket, I mean you cannot rune craft damage into your amulet. As you can see, it says no amulet on any 4 runes, but you can roll that damage as a random enchant, and that's what you should get. And also I'd say that the additional enchant is the only source of resistance that you can get of your choice of resistance from rolls. Every other enchant will be either body or important stats. Your Chrome Trooper pack is can be enchanted for lightning damage, and that's what it should be, 10% lightning damage. Your build revolves around lightning damage, and although it doesn't increase the damage of your spiders, it increases the damage of your supercharged blast, and that's important. You can also enchant minion damage here, and I've used to run with it. It increases your spider damage by about 1 to 1000 DPS, and it's useful. They are strong, but I prefer to max my damage, not the damage of something that can be still AoE'd down by elites. The gloves, they can also be enchanted by with damage, and that's what you should use, dexterity and lightning damage bonus, no other choices. The cannon, as you can see, I use critical hit chance enchant socket, because I would like to use magic find socket, I mean essence, but that's the only way for me right now to reach the cap, critical hit, and I just believe that it's more important, although I might change it to fire. And the 3 enchants that I can get, the base enchant, the second from the perk, and one from the Chrome Trooper cannon bonus. That's lightning damage, minion damage, critical chance, that's the best you can get on the weapon. So that's about the ancients on your gear. I believe that's all I can describe. I shouldn't really describe Katarina. Oh yeah, what I could say is that this skill, Corporeal Bond, I haven't really invested in 0.5% of stat transition, but I might do it later to reach 1700 dexterity. So just try to cap her with as much dexterity as you can. These are my old rings. And she will be even more useful than just a magic find dummy. Now, how to play this build in action? Let's run one Fearless 5. Let's see. You'll start off by killing as many spiders as you can. That's your
Not possible. Don't have
meat shield. And as you can see, you should have Hypercharge Blast on your toggle, and you should spam space as much if space is your chosen button. You should spam space as much as you can, almost as much as your left click, because that will double your damage. See, I deal 560 crit now. I use power up. Ooh, almost 800 crit. Big difference.
I can't do that.
Now, as you can see, I really don't have to do anything. Spiders do all the job, and that's also an important part of this build that has no real level of restriction. You can get strong spiders even if they are weak. But now take a look at this mob. Wait, okay, not this one. Probably that's another one. It's probably one-shotted. Let's find another Spirit Walker.
I can't do that.
Oops. Now I don't know how, but these stick lizards just seem to one-shot me somehow. That's good that they have second chance. I don't seem to take any damage from anything but stick lizards and these giant lizards. Well, giants throw axes, that's absurd. But I don't know how the stick lizards kill you. Okay, Spirit Walker, as you can see. Alright, I'll just tell you. It has lightning immunity, and I forgot to add its own base, so I'll tell about it later. You'll need a trophy for it. So besides my sloppy action with being one-shotted by stick lizards and giantesses, I still haven't got a chance to show you how to avoid the spikes. Bad map, I should have selected maze of days with a lot of chimeras that use spikes. But pretty much, let's see, let's run into the rain here in the middle of every possible thing. Voila! That's something how you should escape any possible inconvenient situation you can get in. Okay, don't shut me now. Assholes. Wrapping up. Oh, yes, loot. Oh my. The grinder shall not pass. I hope you get the joke. If you've completed the campaign properly. Right. I'm not much of a pro. So that's how powerful this build can be. That's how powerful lightning spiders can be. And the interesting thing is all your lightning damage bonuses from trophies, gear, perks, skills, they don't apply to spiders. So if you don't like these particular spiders, or you don't like supercharged blast, as long as you have these 3 skills and something like 500-600 body, or at least some minion health enchanted on the item, you will have exactly the same durable spiders. They will do similar damage. I've seen myself how much damage flame speeders can do, and it's nice because it's AoE, but I like lightning damage, that's Thunder God minions, and I like the modifier, not 40% or like 80%, but 125 single target. It's best for blowing elites, bosses. So, like what I said, you can use any primary ability here, the stupid flamethrower, grenade load, thrown mines, and you can still have the spiders. That's the overpowered thing about mechanic that can be used in any build. Now what I forgot to mention about trophies is that there is this trophy, Adamantine Rotator. Some enemies have resistance to lightning, like I think swarmer nests or some spiders. With this trophy, they'll have no resistance, and some enemies like Willas, Spirit Walkers, again some swarmer nests, they have immunity to lightning damage. So if you don't have this trophy, unfortunately you will hardly be able to deal any damage to these enemies, and that's a big inconvenience. So while you are pretty much tunneled into taking this trophy as one of your 3 slots, it also makes sure that your single overpowered damage has no weaknesses, and the speed for enemies, I don't notice it. So unless you want to feel your trophies, but something else, that's your most important trophy, and not a problem to sustain. Another very useful trophy for your spec, for your build, is the Tribal Totem. 10% lightning damage, no questions here. And what's great is that you don't just trade 33% physical reduction or 10% lightning damage, you also have some substitute of elemental resistance, and that's great. That's probably easily best trophy you can get, because just swap some resistances on your gear from elemental to physical, balance it out, and you have easiest bonus from trophy. Third trophy is up to you. I use Magic Find because I don't notice enemy hit points. I could use some more Magic Find. What's interesting about this trophy is that I have 793 Magic Find now. If I remove this trophy, I have 643. I don't know why, but it's for some reason gives me 150. So if it's whether it's a bug with this trophy or it's some modifier on Magic Find that I have from scenarios or something, but it's just a big bonus that I'd like to preserve. I don't yet know if Special Find has any effect on gear, or like epic sets or godlikes, or if it increases the drop chance of keys. I hope to get an answer from community members later, but I just feel that Magic Find is more important. I get plenty of keys. Well, that's it. You've seen the skills, the ability points, the necessary caps for crit cooldown reduction. You've seen the perks, the trophies, and what this build can do, and how this build can be used without necessarily lightning damage, without supercharged blast, but it should be the Thunder God Arcane mechanic.